Hello everyone, welcome back to my lesson series. Last time we were making this contact us form. Basically, I think we were posting some values in PHP, and I told you how you can basically echo back the values up there just before after this. So if I quickly remove a few things from here. That was just to show you. There are a few things I forgot to add into the explanation last time was this if condition is set and all these things. Please not to worry about the PHP and everything. This is just to show you how with the bit of help of with the help of PHP knowledge you can make your HTML forms working. The whole point was that this is why I've been telling you the PHP lecture series is going to be at the end when we are finished with the bootstrap and stuff. But what happens is I saw many video tutorials online. All of the people, what they do is they do the visual part, basically the HTML, but hardly anyone discusses how to, you know, make the PHP side of it. This is not only the one way to do that. There are plenty of ways you can deal with that in object-oriented paradigm. Some people can do some other way. One of the comment on my previous videos was when I was doing this inline styling. Somebody suggested to make external style sheets. I really appreciate, and they are actually right. I should be making external style sheets, but I didn't cover the internal style sheet, external style sheets in my lessons series yet. So what I will do is I will first tell you the difference between inline styling and external style sheets and their benefits and their good points in terms of SEO and design and development. So we will cover that as well. But for now, if you see what I'm doing through PHP, you will get an idea like how we can make real working forms on and to any website. And what happens is if you visit any website, for example, if I visit this website, Dura Performance, this is, by the way, again, one of my created website. If you go to, for example, this website, they have a contact us page again here. They have a Google map and they have find us and they have a contact us page where people can, enter their details and message goes to the right business. So what happens is um, when we were covering the how to write, for example, the input, the email box, the radio buttons, and all these things, I basically thought it's good to show you some PHP so that you can, after this PHP knowledge, you can create really, real working, real websites for businesses if you have hosting allocated and you have a bit of knowledge of HTML already. So most of the time, websites they have all the other static websites, sorry, web pages, but there is only one page where you need to write the PHP bit, unless you're not making the dynamic or e-commerce, the other websites. But most of the sites they have a small parts where the script is needed. Most of the time, static websites you can all deal with just a normal HTML, CSS knowledge. So okay, so that's enough about the previous things. Last time I was echoing out some values here, but this time what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to tell you a few things. First of all, we can do some form validations. For example, we can check if somebody doesn't write anything in this box, in the first name box, and presses send button. We want to show a message here like please write the name or full name or your name, and then press again. Otherwise we're not going to allow them to press the button. So if I write here In fact, this uh, after this I can write if another if um, if I say is set, sorry, not is set this time, we can do if not empty. This is another PHP function. If not empty, basically we can copy the same thing from here and say if not empty, the name attribute, sorry, the name value post, if that is not empty, then do this, then do this. Otherwise you can say else. You can do, for example, you can say echo. We can show some message here. For example, we can say we can write a paragraph here, P, and we can say paragraph, and we can say please enter. We can say this way, please make sure you fill the required fields represented by star, and we can show a red color star with the input fields where we want to show this is a required field. And you can easily do that by doing just a span here, and you can give it a class, call it red. You can give it a class red star, and you copy that, and all you need to do is you can give a class to this as a red star, and red star, all you need to do is the color of the text, the star should be red, and what it should do is it should display a message if the name field is empty. So if I refresh and if I upload, overwrite the same page, go back and refresh, nothing happened, and nothing should happen. And if I press the button, now you can see it says make sure you fill the required fields presented by star. And for some reasons our star didn't come up onto the screen because of the reason we didn't put any star into, sorry, not eight, a star into our span. Excuse me. If I upload, and what happens is if I continue the same, this is not okay. Yeah, coming up as a red star. I don't know if you can see, if I can zoom in my, because some of the people might have eyesight problems, they cannot see the smaller fonts. So let's make our fonts bit bigger. So as you can see, if we don't fill the required field, is going to show you this. Another thing you can do, just like we made a red star, we can give a class to our basically the error message, and we can call it error, and you can basically say something like error class should have a background red and color white and padding maybe 7 pixel, width same as the above, 500 pixel, and if I upload and process the same form, it should have a different sort of, styling. Yeah, I think that looks better. If we want to, most of the time when you go to different websites, they highlight their error message quite, in a shocking color, so that I mean, you can play around with the color value and the fonts and the styles. There is no limit to it. I mean, if you want to improve a little bit, you might be able to do something like maybe lighter color, and font, maybe you can do font size maybe 11 pixel, bit smaller. Yeah, these two things, I think they are enough. And you can copy sort of same style from the browser and paste here. And what I will do is, as you can see, I always try to indent my code and keep it neat and clean, to easy to, you know, if I refresh, upload and refresh, that should stay. Yeah, so that styling stays there. So similarly you can do something. So this is how you test basically if somebody, you can make more fields. For example, you can make the email required as well. For example, you can say something like I don't know if you are familiar with the AND operator, and if you can check, for example, um this, and instead of name this time you can say, you can add, you know, or operators, you can join, you know, multi conditions with that. But for now I'm not gonna make these this way. I'll tell you another intelligent way to do that. This is basically in PHP. You can do the same thing through the JavaScript. Sorry, the if I remove this condition, for example, I'm not going to remove it. If I make, for example, write required attribute here, so that means this is basically going to take the precedence, because this is rendering before the PHP runs on a server side. This is a client side language HTML, and this is done through, I think, JavaScript. So what happens is, like, this code's gonna take over the precedence over my PHP code. So this is HTML5 feature. What happens is, if you press now the button, as you can see, this is showing a little pop-up here, please fill out this field. So this is coming because I wrote required field here. So if you see this required field, that is basically doing the exactly same thing in much efficient way in a HTML5 this. But there are areas where you need to check the empty field, input field, when you make the complex backend, when people upload products and things, you have to check empty variables also. Some people can write a JavaScript program to bypass your, you know, HTML checks. So they, through the JavaScript or some other clever ways, they can bypass, provide the value in a browser and skip your this required field. So whereas they cannot skip this because this is running on the server side. But I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm already spending too much time on the forms. But okay, coming back to this, so these are two things you can do. So after checking name, what I will do is I'll create another video and I'll explain you what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all these values in email. So I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.